Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to take a deep dive into a world that's completely invisible, but it's everywhere, it's all around us, and it's even inside of us. If you prefer to learn by watching and listening instead of reading, you're in the right place. Let's make the invisible visible. So let's start with a kind of wild question. Did you have any idea that you, yes, you, are basically a walking, talking ecosystem? I mean, right now, there are literally trillions of tiny passengers living on your skin and thriving inside your body. It's time we met them. For the first part of our journey, we're going to zoom way, way in, right inside the human body to get to know these microscopic residents. Now, you might hear the word microbe and immediately think of germs. But you know what? A lot of them are actually more like your own personal security detail. So what do we call this community of tiny helpers? The official term is normal flora, but honestly, the best way to think about them is like really good roommates. They're hanging out on your skin and your gut pretty much everywhere. And when you're healthy, they don't cause any problems at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We've evolved together, and they are absolutely essential for us to survive. So, what's on their to-do list? Well, these bodyguards are incredibly busy. First off, they protect you. They take up space and use up resources, basically crowding out any harmful invaders that might try to move in. They're also like little vitamin factories, pumping out essentials like vitamin K. On top of that, they help you digest foods your body can't handle on its own. And they even help train your immune system to work properly. The main takeaway here, we really, really need them to stay healthy. But here's the thing. This whole setup is super delicate. What happens when that perfect balance gets thrown off? Well, this peaceful internal world can get totally disrupted, and it can lead to something like a microscopic civil war. Let's take a look at that battle for balance. On one side, you've got a state called eubiosis. You can just think of this as harmony, right? It's when your microbial community is balanced and everything's running smoothly. But on the other side, you've got dysbiosis, and that's pure chaos and imbalance. This is when the community of good microbes gets messed up, and that can lead to all kinds of not-so-fun problems, like digestive issues and a much higher risk of getting sick. So what causes this chaos? Well, what's so interesting is just how relatable the causes are. Taking antibiotics, for instance, can be like setting off a bomb in your gut. It just wipes out everything, the good guys and the bad guys. A poor diet literally starves your helpful microbes of the fuel they need. And yep, even stress and other infections can be enough to tip the scales and throw your whole system into dysbiosis. The good news is we have ways to fight back and bring back that harmony. Think of probiotics as sending in reinforcements. These are the good live bacteria like you find in yogurt. Then you have prebiotics, which are basically the food supply for those reinforcements. You find them in high-fiber foods. And synbiotics, that's the ultimate one-two punch. It's a powerful combination of both the troops and their food supply. Okay, let's zoom out for a minute. We've been focused on our bodies, but now let's look at the invisible world and the environment all around us. Because these microbes are literally everywhere, from the water we drink to the very air we breathe. And that brings up a really important question, right? How do we know for sure that the water coming out of the tap is actually safe to drink? We can't see the potential dangers with our own eyes, so we've had to come up with some pretty clever ways to test for them. One of the key tests measures something called the Coley titer. Okay, now this one is a little weird, a bit counterintuitive, so stick with me. It measures the smallest amount of water you need to find just one single coliform bacterium, which is a microbe that tells us there might be contamination. So a high Coley titer is actually a really good thing. It means you have to test a huge volume of water just to find one of them, which means the water is very clean. Now, the flip side of that is the Coley index. And thankfully, this one is much more straightforward. It's just a direct count, the total number of those same bacteria found in 1 liter of water. So for this one, you want that number to be as low as possible. A low Coley index means safe, high-quality water. Simple. And what about the air we're breathing right now? Yep, we can test that too. The easiest way is the sedimentation method. You literally just open a petri dish and let whatever's floating in the air fall down onto it. It gives you a rough idea. But for a much more precise measurement, we use the aspiration method. This involves a special device that acts like a tiny vacuum, sucking in a very specific amount of air. That gives scientists a way more accurate count of what's floating around us. All right, so we've established that microbes are everywhere, some are good, some are bad. This last section is all about how we humans have learned to manage this invisible world, to take control and protect our health and our safety. It's super important to realize that there are different levels of clean. At the base level, you have sanitizing. Think washing your dishes. You're just knocking the number of microbes down to a safe level. A step up from that is disinfecting, like when you wipe down a kitchen counter. This kills most of the harmful stuff, but it leaves behind the really tough customers, like bacterial spores. And then, at the very top, you have sterilization. This is the final boss of clean. It's total annihilation, the complete and utter destruction of all microbial life, period. So how do we achieve that ultimate level of clean? Well, we've developed a whole arsenal of methods. You've probably heard of an autoclave. It uses high-pressure steam, and it's perfect for things like surgical tools. But what about stuff that can't get hot, like certain medicines? For that, we can use incredibly fine filters to literally strain the microbes out. We even use things like radiation and special gases for sensitive equipment. It's really an amazing showcase of human ingenuity, finding all these ways to manage a world we can't even see. So we've gone on quite a journey, huh? From the complex ecosystem living in your gut, all the way to the high-tech methods we use to create sterile environments. This invisible world isn't just some abstract idea. It's a powerful, dynamic force that affects your health every single second of every day. So the real question is, now that you know a little bit more about it, how will you see it differently?